Welcome to the show, this the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.
What is up, you guys? Teller checking in for a late night session. As you guys already know, there is a newly scheduled main event for this upcoming Saturday's fight card, UFC Vegas 67. Kelvin Gastelum pulls out due to the fact that he bit into a frozen burrito, cracked his tooth, a little bit of staph fungal infection growing on the side of his cheek and whatnot as well. And you mix that all up and he did have to pull out. And in steps in Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, a man of the people, taking this fight on short notice. We're going to be getting into what he's been up to recently as he now will be stepping in to the octagon on a major stage, the first event of the year. He's obviously frustrated for the way his last fight went. He felt that he got the job done. Now, in fact, he did. He did outstrike Jared Cannonier in the latter 4 rounds of that fight. He did statistically outstrike Cannonier, but still the fight did not go his way and he did not get the nod. The fight before that, he got knocked unconscious by Alex Pereira, the current middleweight champion. So Sean Strickland's bitter right now, and you know he's a fighter that likes to stay active. He's constantly in the gym, and now as he gets this newly added matchup against Nassourdine Imavov, a very promising up-and-comer, a very talented fighter. Strickland seems to be riding his motorcycle regularly. He's over here. You see him chopping it up. This was pretty cool if you ask me. What do you guys think about this? He said he spent about $2,000 on this kind of a drone, $2,000 on a drone that follows you. It's pretty cool, right? So he's just riding his motorcycle over here on some construction site, and the drone's following him. So it seems that he's been enjoying himself. He also stated that he was supposed to be snowboarding this upcoming weekend before taking this fight. So that's where Sean Strickland is at mentally going into this fight. But if you do know Sean Strickland, he is a fighter that's known for staying pretty active in the gym. So he obviously was getting his training in as well. This is a guy that really needs to go in and spar heavy and just be in the gym just to balance his sanity. All right, so that's the kind of guy we're talking about with a guy like Sean Strickland. This isn't a fighter that he has a fight and then he disappears and he's in the clubs and he's out drinking alcohol, partying and whatnot. I think Strickland's a little bit of a different type of guy. So just so you understand that. But do understand also, Nassourdine Imavov is a fighter that has been training for this upcoming Saturday for the date. He's been training for a 5-round fight initially from the get-go. So he is going to be prepared. All right. And he was training for a fight with a guy who was a former title challenger in Kelvin Gastelum, a former Ultimate Fighter winner. We know Gastelum is a dangerous fighter. I know he's been going through a patchy road recently, but we all still know that Gastelum is a fighter that is respected, and you know that Imavov was coming in very sharp for this fight. A very important fact that I do want to mention as well, this fight will be taking place at a catchweight of a catchweight. It's a light heavyweight. It's a light heavyweight matchup. Okay, the fight's taking place. I guess you want to call it a catchweight. It's a 205 It's a 205 pound fight. So obviously, not either men's natural weight. Sean Strickland. Some people feel that he's a little bit of an undersized middleweight. So we'll see how he looks at the 205 weight. Let's talk about the tape. Let's talk about diving into the tape. What do we see stylistically, how these guys match up? Sean Strickland in his last fight against Jared Cannonier, although he did statistically outstrike Cannonier, I do feel that he was a little bit more hesitant than what we normally see from him. And obviously that could be due to the fact that he was just knocked unconscious by Alex Pereira. But I do feel that Sean Strickland was a little bit more in the back foot in that fight. He was really looking to counter. We know Sean Strickland has a nice jab. We know he has an unorthodox type of striking. And typically he's known for having very good cardio. Nassourdine Imavov is a fighter that does have questionable cardio. All right, he's a fighter that definitely has some questionable cardio. We've seen him breathing heavily in the octagon within a couple of his fights. specifically his last fight against Joaquin Buckley, where he won the first 2 rounds and then dropped the 3rd round and was breathing pretty heavy, was shooting some takedowns and whatnot. I do expect him to have grown from some of those experiences and some of those fights that we're talking about, the Buckley fight and his last fight. But again, even in some of his other fights, we've seen him kind of look a little tired there in the later rounds. The Phil Hawes fight, he was trying to dig deep and get that finish late in that fight. He wasn't able to do that. Both men were gassed. Both men not necessarily known for having the best gas tanks. But I really do feel that Imavov is going to come into this fight and coming into a 5-round fight, I think we'll see him look the best we've seen from him as far as his conditioning goes. But that's something that you want to kind of understand, right? Because normally if this was a scheduled bout, you would definitely give an edge to Strickland there, but Strickland wasn't training for this date and Imavov was training for a 5-round fight. That's a big detail to understand. So, I'm gonna edge the fighter from that aspect that had the date scheduled and was in a training camp. I have to do that. So at the very least, I'll keep that even. Which that's a big deal that Strickland's not gonna have that edge. All right, so Imavov, 26 years old. He's still very young. He's about to be 27. We're going to see this guy's skill set continue to grow, as we just talked about. I think he'll look better and better. He's going to be 2 inches taller, although he is at a disadvantage of 1 inch when it comes to the reach, which was pretty interesting because Imavov is a rangy fighter. He looks very rangy when you watch him. He's very light on his feet. I like his striking. He's very well-rounded. We've seen him go in there and use his grappling to get the job done as well. I mean, what he did to Edmund Shabazian was nasty, putting him in that crucifix and getting the job done there. When you see fighters shoot on him recklessly, he stuffs the takedowns very well. You saw Buckley shooting some takedowns. He stuffed the takedowns nicely, reversed Buckley. So he is a well-rounded fighter, but I do also think that people are sleeping on his striking. He's a very accurate striker, and I think that he could hold his own on the feet with Strickland. And the way that Strickland was fighting in his last fight, kind of counter striking and whatnot, if Imavov is leading the dance a little bit more so, I could see Imavov kind of outpointing Strickland, or at least taking 3 of the 5 rounds. I think this fight's very, very close, but I'm going to be taking Nassourdine Imavov to get the job done here. I like the fact that he was planning to fight on this date for a 5-round fight, and the fact that Sean Strickland's just jumping in here when he was just about to go snowboarding and whatnot, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. As you see here, just earlier today, that this fight was a -110. Flat even on both sides for both fighters, but from this morning till now, which I'm filming this pretty late here, almost 12:30, just past midnight here, Eastern time zone. Money's coming in on Nassourdine a little bit on Bovada.lv. He's now a -115 with the comeback at -107 on Sean Strickland. And I think that's definitely due to the fact that they just understand that Imavov was training for this date and people respect his skill set. All right, so I am going to be taking Nassourdine Imavov. The line is essentially a pick'em, so I'm going to be pointing more towards the value on Imavov. This is an extremely close fight, and if I'm going to play devil's advocate, we do have to respect the fact that Sean Strickland has much more pro experience, 30 pro fights compared to Nassourdine's 15 pro fights. That's double the amount of pro experience. He's been fighting in the UFC a lot longer. He's more battle tested. He's been in there with higher level competition. But I wonder where Strickland's at now. Losing 2 fights. He keeps his hands low at times. I wouldn't be shocked if Imavov cracks him with a big shot. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure, but I wouldn't be shocked there. And I wonder where he's at mentally going into this fight. So he's still, he's just about to be 32 years old. Still has time, but he's been through some wars, and we know that he battles hard in the gym. With his sparring as well. So he's taking a lot of damage, and I'm taking the younger, fresher fighter that's on the up and up here that was planning for this date. Give me Nassourdine Imavov. Comment below. Tell me who you guys are taking in this newly added main event matchup. I'm really curious who you guys got here. I have a feeling we're going to see more people go towards Sean Strickland's way. That's what I've been seeing on Instagram a little bit more so. And I understand where some of you guys are coming from. This is a close fight, but give me Nassourdine Imavov. All right, guys? Signing out.
Welcome to the show. This the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.